Hello, everybody on my podcast. Welcome to Finding Your Inner Peace and Tranquility. I'm your host, Goddess Asha Mariama. Thank you guys for joining me for this episode. If you guys like the commentary, please, on Spreaker.com, please go and become a member of my podcast. For those of y'all on my YouTube channels, I want to say welcome to my channels, all of my channels. Y'all know who I am by now. I appreciate you guys for joining me for this episode. A little bit about me. I am a certified recovery life coach, all about helping people in their paths, their journeys, and their purpose to a new and better you. Also on Spreaker.com, if you guys want to basically hear my podcast on other streaming companies, you can go to iHeartRadio, you can go to Amazon, Google, Cashbox, Spotify, and multiple other streaming companies as well. Now, as a certified recovery life coach, I'm all about helping people in their past journeys and their purpose to a new and better you through multiple facets of self discovery, because recovery is not just about the external when it comes to health. It's also about the internal part of your health. It's also about your far as your mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual, and financial recovery and healing as well. Now, this particular podcast is all about the spiritual side of healing and recovering when it comes to everyday life. So, for example, spiritual can be spiritual warfare within yourself. It could be a situation where you ended up in jail or hooked up on drugs and you're trying to basically go to God and asking God to guide you through the healing and recovery process through his guidance and Jesus' leadership or whatever your spirituality or religion is. This podcast is not just for Christians or Baptists, it's for all races of religions and spirituality as well. Now, y'all know that I have to pretty much do a scripture of the day. And I'm going to have to, I don't know if I have my Bible on here as an app. So give me a second. While I'm doing that, I'm going to have the conversation about today's topic. And today's topic is you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And a lot of people don't understand what that means when you say you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Now, when you live by the sword, it means that basically, essentially, every choice, every decision, every action or behavior has consequences, repercussions, and karma to it. So if you decide to do something that is negative, I need you to understand there are consequences. And for every consequence, repercussion, and karma, there's trauma, devastation, and multiple other things that you're going to have to deal with when it comes to spiritually. Now, I'm going to look up um, the actual scriptures for this because I can't find what I'm looking for. So, we're also going to listen to some videos about this as well, as far as the meaning of this. But a lot of people don't understand when it comes to living by the sword and dying by the sword. This is Matthew's 26:52. Jesus said to disciples, "Put your sword back in its place. People who use a sword to kill others will themselves die in the same way." So how you live in this world is how you gonna leave this world. So when you do things based upon negativity, you're gonna die by it. So in Proverbs it says to live by the sword, to die by the sword. One who uses violence can expect a violent response. It is better to try peaceful means whenever possible. One can expect a dire outcome from any vice used to convey a sense of political justice is invitable. So what I want people to understand when it comes to these particular scriptures and when it comes to this, understand that you need to be careful with it. So a lot of people think that when it comes to doing certain things, there are not any consequences, repercussions, or karma to it, but there are plenty. So when you're sitting up here, saying something and doing something, understand there is something that come with that. And then in Luke 22, verse 36, he said to them, but now let one who has money bag take it, and likewise a knapsack, and let one who has no sword, sell his cloak and buy one. And then he said, but now if you have a purse, take it, but also a bag, and don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. So pretty much what that means is for every action, there's a reaction. So if you gonna be man or woman enough to say something to somebody with a gun that you know got a gun, that you know is violent, you better be able to take what come with it. If you know that somebody is purely insane, you might want to leave them where they at. So again, just because you think you can say whatever you want to somebody does not mean in any aspect that there is not consequences and repercussions and karma. Because trust and believe there are. For everything you do to somebody else will come back on you. It may not come back on you at that time, but it will come back on you eventually. So if somebody's committing infidelity, eventually you're going to get caught. Eventually you're going to get caught. For every negative thing you do, there are consequences. Even when you consume something, as far as anything that your five senses presents to you, there are consequences if you act on it, if you behave on it. So let's say, for example, somebody says, you're ugly, you're fat, you don't belong, you ain't good enough. My response is, okay. But to somebody else, they're going to cuss that person out. For example, if you come home and your house has been broken into, and you're like, at first you pissed. You want to know who did it and how I can go about destroying this person and hurting this person. The problem is, when you get to them, you may do something to them, but is it going to make you feel better? Is doing revenge really going to make you feel better? No, it ain't. If anything, it's going to make you feel worse. So it may seem like the person is getting away with it, but in all actuality, they're not. Because eventually, there will be a person that's going to give them their consequences. It doesn't have to be you. So even though you may have went through something traumatic, it doesn't mean holding on to those emotions that come with it. Because if you hold on to it, you're going to want vengeance. So again, it doesn't just mean the negative person. It can also be the person that's hurt. When you live by the sword, you die by the sword. When you following behind other people and committing crimes, you gonna go down to that situation no differently than the other person. It's no different than them girls in the sex cult, like I said last night. They sitting around here doing all this stuff that's gonna end up putting them in jail. And it ain't until they sitting in jail and they don't hear nothing from this man that it finally makes them realize they've been played and they made a fool out of themselves. So what I want people to understand is that scripture ain't nothing to play with. That scripture is something you should think about when you deal with negative people. Unless they put their hands on you, there should not be anything that they can say to you to impact you in any capacity. As a matter of fact, if somebody commits infidelity, all you gotta do is walk away. All you gotta do is leave that person where they standing at. You don't have to stay and deal with that. You don't even have to be a part of it. All you gotta do is walk away. All you gotta do is say, you know what? Let me go ahead on and pack my stuff. Let me go ahead on and start getting prepared to leave this relationship. So when you think about the 48 laws of power, that's when that comes in. The 48 laws of power is going to protect you from negative people because it's going to teach you how to deal with them, depending on what the circumstance is. So if you know you in a domestic violence situation, what you need to do is figure out a way to leave the state. And I ain't talking about stay in that city. No, leave the state. You can't stay in that state. You got to move. You got to change your identity. You got to change everything. So the first time he hits you, you already know, okay, I need to go ahead on and leave this relationship. If you know you're not trying to have sex with somebody, then you don't need to be alone with that person in any shape, form, or fashion. You don't need to be alone with anybody that you're not going to be intimate with. So don't. Stand on what you believe in. If you don't want to have sex before marriage, stand on that. I don't care how much this person pressures you. Nope, I'm not doing it. I don't want to get pregnant. I know that men have a tendency to take off condoms. Do your research. Because that way when people try to come to you, so let's say, for example, somebody want to rob a bank, right? So they have you drop them off. Next thing you know, they're coming out with a bunch of money. You're like, what is this? Drive. I don't have nothing to do with this. Get out my car. Because you're not gonna bring me involved in this. Because there are times where that can happen where you're just in the car. You have no idea what's going on. All you were doing was in the car. And you have people that are sitting up here now, sitting in prison because they was in the car when the other person robbed. And now this other person is sitting in prison because of your choice and your decisions and your actions and your behavior. And that's what everybody seems to be doing these days. You're following other people and you have no idea what their life was like. You have no idea how they got to where they at. All you know is you're following this person. That's all you're doing. You're following somebody that you have no idea who you following. So it's crazy to me how a lot of y'all talk about people that are doing the right thing, but yet and still want to chastise. Y'all chastise the people that's trying to do the right thing and calling them boring, but yet y'all follow behind people that have y'all sitting in jail somewhere. So when the consequences hit, everybody don't want to deal with the consequences. For everything y'all do, you want to sit up there and make some excuse why you did what you did. Nope, own it. You did what you did. You said what you said. Take everything that come with it. But for a lot of y'all don't want to do it. You don't want to deal with the consequences. You don't. Y'all want to sit right there and continue to act like you didn't do whatever it is that you did. You did it. So I want you to own it. I want you to have the same energy. That's why people think I be playing when I say, take everything that come with it. Take everything that come with what you did. Because don't you sit here and try to tell me that you did what you did. Oh, I did what I did because I followed this person. So if somebody tell you to jump down a bridge, you're going to jump. If somebody tell you to do something, you're going to do it. All because the fact that you want to do it. Okay. So this is why I say, you can't pay me enough to do all of that. You can't. You can't pay me enough to sit there and do any of that because I ain't going to jail for you. I'm not losing my life for you, and I'm staying away from negative people. I am not taking on problems that have nothing to do with me. at this point in junction. Point personally, I just ain't at this point. So no, I don't feel the need to do that. I don't want to do that, and I don't have time to do that. So whatever your problem is not mine. So I don't see what the point is that is. So now that I'm looking at Luke, it also says, I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here's one sword. And he said unto them, it is enough. So it also says in 31, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desires to have you, and he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, and thy faith will not, and thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthened thy breathing. They spell things so weird to me. He said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both in prison and to death. And he said unto him, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day. Before that shall twice deny that thou knows it's me. So, at the end of the day, like I said to a lot of y'all, in this Bible, for every action, there is a reaction. For everything you do, there are consequences. Good and bad, there are consequences. So you need to be mindful of that. Because in this Bible, it talks about every single negative thing that you do and the consequences, repercussions, and karma that comes with it. So there's 100 Bible verses that we're going to go into. Well, we're going to go into all of them. But I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go into some of these. Because a lot of y'all are sitting up here doing things that's going to come back to bite you. And when it does, it's going to be ugly. And it's just like, yep, you have to work on your own issues before you help other people. Absolutely. A lot of people on this app, and I'll give you a good example. A lot of people talk about weight. And they talk about how big people are never going to get married, never going to be in relationships, never going to be this. Okay, but here's the kicker of it all. When you make fun of somebody and when you bully somebody, you know that comes back on you, right? It comes full circle. That person 20 years later could lose 100 pounds and now you done gained 40 pounds. So the minute you said something about this person's weight, now you got issues. Now you got weight issues. Now you got something going on. So this is why I don't make fun of people, because it comes back on you. This is why I don't talk about people's weight. This is why I don't sit up here and say certain things, because it's wrong. It will come back on you. Absolutely will come back on you. And when it does, it ain't going to be pretty. So when it comes to this particular scripture, Matthew 26:52, then Jesus said okay, I already read that one already. Okay. It says in Genesis 9:6, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. Let's even go into Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel were brothers. And Cain was jealous because God worshiped more so thought that Abel's offerings were better. And what did he do? He took this man's life. And what did God do? God has banished him. And then in Romans 13:4, it says, for he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain, for he is the servant of God and the avenger who carries out God's wrath on wrongdoers. So basically, essentially, what I've learned in this wonderful world, in this wonderful situation, is that the whole purpose of you being on this planet is for you to be able to protect yourself and be able to maneuver in this world without the influences. Now, when you were a baby, I get it. Your mother and father, yes, they were supposed to guide you. They were supposed to protect you. But no other person besides them two people are supposed to do that. Nobody. Nobody has to do anything for you, and they're not obligated to. Because there are a lot of people that are good people that will never get what they give. They will sit there and be done dirty, and they will sit there and not be able to cry, not being able to be emotional, have to sit there and take abuse over and over and over and over and over again. Got to sit up here and be a seat filler, Captain Save-A-Ho, Build-A-Bear, and Build-A-Dolls. These are people that have to give up their dreams to elevate everybody else. And that is not what God told you to do. God said to help people, just don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in helping other people. And then it also says in Matthew 5:1-48, seeing the crowd, he went up to the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him and opened his mouth and taught him, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Now, all of y'all talk about money. All of y'all talk about power. I hear it all the time. But what you don't understand is that don't make you happy. Now, don't get me wrong. Money does help when it comes to health and wellness. Money does help when you're able to do the things you want to do. But in y'all language is, I want to spend money. That is your definition of money. My definition is, money is how I'm going to have the best health. Money is where I'm going to be able to go to therapy and get mental health. Money is what helps me when it comes to getting foods that are healthy for me. Money is where I'm able to do the things I want to do and have a carefree life without working for nobody. I'm able to help people to basically learn, and then they go off and they fly. The same way with a butterfly when it comes to it becoming out of a cocoon, same way a bird when they learn how to fly and they leave the nest. It is not for people to stay in jobs the rest of their life. It is for them to learn a position in order for them to eventually learn the whole entire industry to build your own business and brand. But that's not what they want you to do. They don't want you to do that at all. They want you to stay in the same position for the rest of your life. And even now, they're saying instead of giving you a raise, they give you bonuses that at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay back. You're going to have to pay back that bonus. So while you're sitting up here saying, oh my God, I got a raise, I got a bonus every month. But the problem is now you got to sit up here and take care of, at the end of the year, paying back money because you made too much. So they don't want to give you a raise because I don't even think there's too many people that make over $25 an hour. There's very few people that do in this world. So I want people to understand that the whole point is not to hold people back, not to keep them from being who they are. It's about letting them shine the same way this person lets you shine. How is it that somebody else can't shine, but yet you can? How is it you get to live your dreams and I can't live mine? Because you want me to have a child that I'm not ready for. Stand on your square. In Revelations 13:10, if anyone is to be taken captive to captivity, he goes. If anyone is to be slain with a sword must be he must win. I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. If anyone is to be slain with the sword must he be slain. Here is the call for the endurance and the faith of the saint. So in other words, you unalive somebody, you get unalived by the same sword. Live by the sword, die by the sword. You commit a crime and you steal, guess what? Somebody gonna steal from you. If you go and get somebody else pregnant and abandon them, your karma is coming. Judgment 24:21. But Jael, the wife of Hebrew, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand, and she went softly to him and drove the peg into his temple, and it went down in the ground while he was lying fast asleep from weariness, so he died. So in other words, a woman that probably went through abuse, they probably went through some, or won the insurance money, whatever reason it is, decided they was gonna go and unalive their husband. Interesting. It says Judges 9:54. Then he called quickly to the young man and his arm bearer and said to him, draw your sword and kill me, lest they said of me, a woman killed him, and a young man thrust through, and he died. And then Genesis 9:5-6. And for you, lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. From every beast, I will require it, and from every man. And from his fellow man, I require a reckoning of the life of man. Whoever sheds blood of a man, by man shall blood be shed. God made man in his own image. Ephesians 6:17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Now I gotta read this one, huh? Let me go here. Y'all know I gotta read some. Normally they have the whole entire scripture, but I guess they don't. They don't. So I'm gonna have to look the scripture up to find the actual the context of that scripture. And then it says Ephesians 6:17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And then Exodus 22:2-3. If a thief is found breaking in and is stuck so that he dies, there shall be no blood guilt for him. But if the Son has risen on him, there shall be blood guilt on him. He shall surely pay. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. And then Exodus 20:13, you shall not murder. So I need people to understand that how you live is how you die. Point blank period. Some people, when they leave, when their life is ended, they die peacefully. Some people have played Russian roulette with their lives and have done so much damage to their lives to the point that's how they lose their lives. Where other people lose their lives due to other people, car accidents, somebody unaliving somebody for whatever reason it may be. So again, if you think that blood is not going to be on your hands of the people that you unalive, you have lost your mind. That blood is never going to come off. It's going to be on your hands the rest of your life till you pass away. So I want people to understand this is not a game. When you live by the sword, you die by the sword, because it's absolutely real. What you do to others will be done unto you. For every action, there is a reaction. For everything you do has consequences, repercussions, and karma. There's no running from that. You can't run from karma. You can't. If karma wants you, karma is going to get you no matter what. It ain't nothing you can do about it. If karma wants to destroy you, trust and believe it will. It ain't nothing you can do about it. So how you live is how you die. If you live by negativity, you're going to die by it. If you continue to stay with somebody that's negative, then you're going to end up in a bad situation you don't want to be in. So you need to be mindful of that. So I just want people to understand that it ain't nothing to play with when you talk about hurting people. Understand there are consequences and repercussions for your actions. And a lot of y'all think that's a game. A lot of y'all think you can sit there and do negativity to people and think there are no consequences and repercussions. Oh, but there are. So you need to be mindful of that. So I think this is, hold on. Is this, I'm trying to look at something. This is what, okay, I'm gonna let y'all hear this right quick. Hold on. Okay, this is where, I think this was Menace to Society. And I'm gonna share my screen because I'm gonna let y'all hear this because, it's important. Because I remember when I heard that, and it really didn't dawn on me at the time, but it dawned on me now. So I'm going to use this for educational purposes only, but I'm going to let y'all hear this, but give me a second, make sure.
In their life. Stan was a man who lived without a moral compass. When he was younger, sure, he had a conscience. He felt guilty about doing bad things, but he ignored his conscience to the point that he became deaf to it. And as he grew, he lived to take whatever he wanted. If he wanted a girl, he just took her. He lived a life of lust and a life of sin, and he had no regrets about any of it. Again, if he wanted something, he just took it. He had no restraint. But the thing about living a life of sin is that no matter what sin it is, whether it's stealing or killing, whatever it may be, sin never stays at one level. Sin always grows. You become addicted to it. And Stan, who had a habit of stealing, allowed that sin to grow to the level of even trying to pull off a heist.
Next in line, please.
Give him the money! Get your ass! Give him the money! Come on! Let's get this money, baby.
But as James 1:15 says, when sin is fully grown, it always leads to death. And that's how it is. Eventually, a lifestyle of sin always catches up with you. And for Stan, his lifestyle of stealing, killing, living without restraint finally caught up to him.
I heard you robbed the bank.
Rob no bank.
Cool. Thanks for champagne. Yeah.
Get out of the ground! Get out now! Get out! Get out of the ground now! Get over there quick! Go!
As Christ said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But for Stan, death was no big deal. He lived by the philosophy that you only live once, and so you might as well try to get what you can by any means while you're here. And when you're dead, you're dead. But little did he know that after death comes judgment. And his fate is one that so many are falling victim to. And one of the main reasons why is because of Satan. You see, Satan knows that God wants to use this generation. And whenever he realizes that God is about to use a generation, Satan does whatever he can to destroy that generation. This is why today we see it all too often. Lives destroyed, dreams ruined.
I've been waiting for you boys.
Satan has destroyed countless lives through drugs and alcoholism. And when they die, Satan has won. He has destroyed countless lives through crime and violence. And when they die, again, Satan has won. And you may say, why? Why does he care to take lives? Because he knows that he has no future. He knows that he is doomed. He knows that his future is the lake of fire and nothing is going to change that. And so his goal now is to take as many down with him as he can. And this is why he wants us to kill each other and even ourselves. And he won't be satisfied until we all end up slaves of sin and on that path to death. He knows his future is hell. And so he wants us to end up like Stan, so that our future will be hell too. But we are on to his plan, and we will stand against it. Because we are waking up. We are realizing that our enemy is not each other. Our enemy is not even ourselves. Our enemy is the same enemy that we have had since the Garden of Eden, the Prince of Darkness. And so it is not coincidence that now more than ever you turn on the news and every night another young person has been murdered. It is not coincidence that suicide rates are through the roof. All of it, every bit of it, is part of Satan's strategy to exterminate this generation. Because he knows that God wants to use it. He knows that God has big plans for you and for this generation. And God wants to use it in a mighty way to witness for him. So yes, Satan has won some battles, and we have lost many along the way. But he will not win this war, because we are ambassadors of Christ. We are on assignment for the King. We are awake and on a mission to save the lost.
My bad, y'all. I'm sitting talking, and my podcast got to hear what I had to say. I'm sorry. When it comes to this particular theory, I'm gonna say it again, but not repetitively rise. Whatever you do on this earth, there are consequences. When you follow other people, you going into their consequences. You're taking on spiritual baggage that ain't yours. When you sitting up here making fun of somebody, that come back on you. When you sit there and you go through abuse and you're abusing somebody, that comes from somebody else being abused. But they're not abusing the person that abused them. They're abusing everybody else. So the person that is the abuser, let's say it's a parent, for example, the child is either not going to be an abuser, or they're going to end up being the abused or the abuser. Because if all this person knows is pain, they're going to think they deserve the pain. Why? Because their whole entire life, since they were a kid, has been nothing but pain. For the rest of your life, you got to deal with the pain that you did. Problem is, none of y'all don't believe in repentance. That word, repentance. And I noticed that in these churches, they don't bring up the word repent. You can do what you want to somebody when it comes to adultery. You can do whatever you want to when it comes to having sex before marriage. You can do what you want to and leave somebody a single mother. And there are no consequences. So the real reason why people do those things is because there's no consequences. There's no repercussions, but there is karma. Some things may not even get to consequences and repercussions, but there will be karma. So, for example, you abandoned your child. You allowed your child to be sexually assaulted, and you did nothing about it. You didn't stop it. You kicked your child out over a man. And now this child ends up successful, happily married with children. And now every day she's scared of leaving her child with somebody because she's scared her child is going to be molested. You have women that will not date because they were molested as a kid, and they will not let a man even come in their house because of it. But on the flip side of that, you got women that are so addicted to being with a man, so addicted to having a man, and can't be by themselves, that you bring these men in straight for your daughters. And majority of men are dating you just to get to your daughter. That's the sad part about it. Even in daycare, you got people trying to molest children. Even in the schools, they're molesting children. Your child is getting hit with a double whammy, not only by boys, but also grown men. They're getting it on both ends. And what's sad is these men are not men of God. These men are men of Satan because they feed into the 7 deadly sins so easily and feed into it like it's nothing. How many men, in all honesty, are virgins? My son is still a virgin at 28. He's still a virgin. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. He's still a virgin. Autistic or not, he'll still be a virgin until marriage. My son would have been a virgin until marriage because I'd have seen to it. It'd have been that way. I always ask young girls this question. Well, older women this question. And it always goes over women's heads. But I'm going to ask the question now. Why are you dating a man that has given his, you know what, away to multiple women? You've never had sex before, but you're having sex with a man that has already given his away. So he's already contaminated. He's already contaminated. No virgin should ever be with a young boy or a man that has already had sex already. Why is it only young girls that got to save themselves to marriage, but yet young boys don't have to? So young boys can go out here and contaminate themselves, but yet young girls cannot. And then the sad part about it is, being that they don't have a father, which majority of them don't, they don't have a man to tell them that you need to wait till marriage and do. And I mean, I remember the father-daughter dances when they had the purity rings and all of that. I was so excited about that. The one thing that I regret, and most women regret, is that we were looking for the love of our fathers and the love of a man. And that is the ultimate deception for a woman. The fact that we're looking for daddies and versus husbands. What that man has is not yours. That's his. You should have your own as well. It shouldn't be a man doing everything when it comes to finances. And people misinterpret the Bible and do not understand there's a hidden in between it all. God never said a woman didn't have to work. God never said that a woman doesn't have to contribute and pay half the bills. And God broke it down clearly what the word provide means. And it wasn't financial. When God said for a man to provide for his wife, it means to make sure your family is safe. Not financially, safety. So it doesn't matter where both of y'all are working or not, because in the beginning of time, men and women were both out there working. It's just when it came to children, the mother was the one that taught the kids. She was the one that basically was doing it all. And that is the reason why women had to do it all, because there was no school systems. There was no maids, butlers, none of that. You didn't have the jobs today back then. So yes, men had to build houses. Men had to know how to fix things. Whereas women basically didn't. There were women that were out there even in slavery during the Egyptians that were out there working out there no differently than there were women that were slaves during African American when it came to America. Men and women are no different mentally. There's nothing different between men and women except our body types. That's pretty much it. So all of this, a woman's supposed to stay home and take care of the kids, not in 2024. That is back during a time when there were no jobs. That was back during a time where men and women and the community worked together to build. Every single man built. Every single man was out there farming. Back then, you didn't know what you were good at. It wasn't until all of the populations began. That's when everybody was put in different positions, whether it be farming, whether it be someone that basically mixed up cement. But that wasn't until later on in time. So the fact that y'all think that women are just supposed to sit home while you go to work, that is not what God meant by that. God said her money is her money and your money is to provide for the household. So let me break down what this means. The husband, yes, is supposed to pay all of the bills. Yes, true. The wife is supposed to take care of the things of the house. So let me break down what it means, ladies, because y'all ain't off the hook. You're supposed to basically pay for vacations, trips, school supplies. You're supposed to pay for groceries, cleaning supplies, and your husband's clothing. Oh, that part right there. Yeah, you're supposed to pay for your man's clothes. So while he pays the water bill, the rent, and all of that, you're supposed to pay for his clothes and his shoes, and those are the things you pay for. So yes, your money is your money. But your money also goes towards the household as well. And if he can't afford to pay all the rent, then guess what? You have to help him. That's what a helpmate is. A helpmate is wherever it is I need you at is what I need you to do. A helpmate is we are 50-50. We do this together. So if my husband is $100 short, I make sure he's good. But where in the Bible does it say that women are supposed to stay home and take care of kids? That is not what God said. Nope. Because the Asian community and the Arab community and people from India are a prime example of that. Their kids be at the market selling no differently than their parents do. Their kids be out there working no differently than they do. What are you talking about? I don't know where America gets this thing. Oh, I'm going to stay home while my husband goes. No, you're going to get your butt up and go get a job is what you're going to do. Because you're also supposed to have a job. You're also supposed to have a career. So I don't know what the world half of y'all be talking about when y'all say things that you say that makes absolutely no sense. Because the thing that contradicts that is evenly yoked. He is not my daddy. I am not his mother. We're supposed to enjoy our relationship and give ourselves time before we have children, which means both of us are supposed to build separately yet together. And then when we have built enough to where we are financially stable, mentally and psychologically and emotionally ready for children, then we bring them in the world. When we understand that it's 18 plus years of raising a child, that is when you bring somebody else into the equation. You don't bring kids in the equation and you broke. You don't bring kids in the equation because you decide to have sex before marriage. You ain't even supposed to be having sex before marriage. And sex is not for entertainment. Sex is for having children until you can't have them more. Where are y'all getting this stuff from? Do you not understand the Bible doesn't even give you the whole entire conclusion? You have to read between the lines to understand it. The Bible is straightforward, yes. And yes, it does contradict because negativity is going to make it contradict itself. You have negative and positive. That is the reason why the Bible basically goes at it from both directions. Because there is an even keel between the two. Between negative and positive, there is something in between. So when you read the Bible, you have to read both sides in order to figure out what the in-between is. That's how you figure it out. It's not just black and white. There will be times you will be manipulated, bamboozled, led astray. If you look at Jesus, Jesus was with the devil himself, and the devil said, I will give you whatever you want for you to bow down to me. Jesus said, I don't need all that. Jesus said, I'll do all this. Nope, my father said no. But yet and still, you will go against your parents every single day, and your parents will go against you every single day. There will be a time you will be alone, and there will be nobody there but either you and God or you and the devil himself. And you're going to have to decide which side are you on. And that's the whole point of recovery. Let me break it down spiritually for you. Recovery is you got to make a decision based on everything you've been through. And when you finally come to terms with everything, when you finally realize you've been played and that you've been wasting time with people that God didn't send you, that God did not bring into your life, that you went looking for, that you weren't supposed to, you got off your path because you saw all these other people doing whatever it is that they're doing, but you ain't focusing on yourself, not understanding time will continue to move, but your life has an expiration date. Do you not understand that? Your life has an expiration date. And for some people, they don't even live to have kids because of somebody else's consequences, repercussions, actions, and behavior. Did Aaliyah have to pass away? No. Do half the people that lose their lives to other people have to lose their lives? No. But they had no idea that the next morning was going to be the last morning that they woke up. They had no idea somebody was going to beat them to death. They had no idea someone was going to sexually assault him and then unalive them when they walked out the door. A young girl, 17-year-old, did not have any idea that she was going to be targeted at Target, get kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and unalived at the mall. There are times you don't know when you walk out that door what's going to happen, because you have no control over somebody else's freedom of choice and free will. You have no control over somebody's decisions, actions, behavior, and choices. You have no control over that. But you have people who think they can basically control somebody's life. You got people who think they can destroy people's lives without no remorse for it. You got people that still owe you money that you ain't never gonna see no more, because they ain't not gonna repent for their wrongs. They not gonna pay you back the money that they owe you. You ain't never gonna see that money. That money's never gonna come to you. But holding on to anger, holding on to something that is going to basically make things worse for you, let it go. Let it go. It ain't worth it. So I'm gonna play this last video about this, going into more detail about this, and I might stop periodically. But I'm telling y'all better learn how to repent. So for me, my repentance is this: for anybody that I've wronged, for anybody I've done dirty in any way, shape, form, or fashion, if anything that I have said has hurt somebody, I repent for that. I ask for forgiveness for it. As for negativity, I rebuke it and send it back from which it came, because it don't belong here. But I'm not leaving this earth with any regrets. And I'm not leaving this earth not repenting for what I did wrong. Even though I really haven't done much that's wrong. But still, some of y'all got people you got to pay back. Some of y'all got some apologizing to do for the people who you've wronged. Because when it get done to you, then all of a sudden, I can't believe this happened to me. Do you think back to the person who you hurt? You ain't never gonna be happy, and you ain't never gonna have what you want until you make amends to the people who you wronged. Do you not understand you ain't never gonna have happiness? Do you not understand that you gonna go through it and it's gonna be worse than the person you've wronged, because you haven't made amends and you ain't said you sorry, and you ain't paid this person back, and you ain't tried to fix the situation? A lot of y'all owe some people some money and you need to pay them back. A lot of y'all have robbed, stolen, unalived people, and you ain't once made amends. But the thing about it, you can't make amends to that person because they gone. You have to literally go to their grave and make amends. For the people that's alive, you need to pay them back their money, and you need to make amends for what you did wrong. If you didn't pay this person back, you better figure out some way to pay that person back their money. That person went to bat for you. That person helped you out. And yet you don't want to pay them back their money. Are we serious right now? A lot of y'all expect people to do stuff for you, but you don't reciprocate it. A lot of y'all try to make people feel guilty because they're telling you they can't do it for whatever reason because you waited last minute. The inconsistencies, the inconsideration of it all. Y'all don't care about nobody but yourselves. You don't care who you hurt. You don't care who you impact. You don't care who you harm. All you care about is, I want to destroy this person that you don't know, who don't know you, because you following rabbits down the rabbit hole. But then when all of y'all go through the consequences, repercussions, and karma, then all of a sudden it's, oh my God, I didn't know this was going to happen. Of course you did. That's how negativity works. That's why for every single last one of them people that did what they did to me, got exactly what was coming to them. Do I feel bad that it happened to them as a godly person? Yeah. But the human version of me? Nope. The humane person in me? Nope. The godly person in me? Absolutely. I don't like to see nobody go through nothing. But that karma of it was well deserved. Every single solitary karma that came with what y'all did to me and came back on y'all, you deserved every single bit of it. But do I want to see anybody go through that? Nope, I don't. But at the same time, when you want to sit up here and do something negative and mess with God's people, and you think there ain't no consequences, there are consequences and repercussions and karma to your actions. And for every action, there is a reaction. The problem is you don't want that person to react. You don't want that person to respond. You want to sit there and say whatever you want to, and that person got to sit there and take their mess. But then when they walk away from you and say, you know what, I'm not even having this conversation, you get mad because they like, I'm not doing this with you. Then you want to keep pushing the narrative, until finally they've had enough and cuss you out. Then what happens? You play victim. That's why I didn't want to do it. Because no matter what I would have said, no matter how much receipts I pulled, I was a liar. I am living proof of a crucifixion. I am living proof of what it's like to be crucified, to be falsely accused, to be lied on, and then resurrect from the dead. I have all people can sit there and say that. But I am not going to sit up here. And even though karma is what it is, but I will still, as a godly person, love negative people to where God loves me when I make mistakes. That's why I try to get an understanding when it comes to negative people and their behavior. I try to get some type of understanding. But I am not going to waste my health and wellness and my stress level to be mad at you. I'm not going to wish you any ill will because you're going to get it anyway because of karma. But I'm not going to wish it on you. But I'm going to rebuke negativity and send it back from which came, for no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I know that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video because this breaks it down a little bit more when it comes to you reap what you sow. In other words, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And then I'll be back. And if I see anything that I find interesting, then I'll stop it. So let me mute myself and then we'll get started.
And behold, one of those who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then should the scriptures be fulfilled that it must be so?" That hour Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out against a robber with swords and clubs to capture me? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. But all this has taken place that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples left him and fled. I'll address the whole "all who taste the sword will perish by the sword" thing a little more when we cover Peter next lesson, but I want to address it here as well because it fits the context of Jesus' trial more than it does Peter's. Can we extrapolate from this a general principle that men who live violent lives often end with violent deaths? Yes, but we cannot make the leap that physical force is never appropriate. David was a great warrior and yet is described as a man after God's own heart. God himself is described as a mighty warrior in the song sung by the Hebrews during their exodus from Egypt. Most of the heroes of the Bible were mighty men of valor. But that's the Old Testament. Jesus is the Prince of Peace, some of you will say. If that's your position, don't read Revelation because you are in for quite a shock how Jesus is described on Judgment Day. Like I said, we need to put this directly in the context of the moment. Jesus had just spent hours struggling with this final phase of his mission. He was resisting the cross, but had resolved that not his will, but God the Father's will be done. From here on out, there was no turning back. Had Peter been awake with Jesus when he prayed, like Jesus had asked, perhaps he'd be up to speed with the plan, but he wasn't. As is his way, he lashed out impulsively. But let's look at this total scene again. 11 disciples are surrounded by a great crowd with swords and clubs. John 18:3 tells us that it wasn't just temple guards, but a detachment of Roman soldiers as well. The Roman legion was the Marine Corps of its day. It had basically conquered the entire known world and brought about 200 years of global peace. Luke 22 tells us that at the Last Supper, a few hours earlier, Jesus had just told his disciples that for their protection, if they don't possess a sword, they better sell their cloak and go buy one. And we all know from John that it's Peter who actually cuts Malchus' ear off. What most people don't realize is that though Peter is the first to act, he is on the same page as the rest of the disciples. Per Luke 22:49, when those who were around him saw what would follow, they said, "Lord, shall we strike with the sword?" The problem was that they heard half of what Jesus told them at the Last Supper, but failed to comprehend the other half. They got his message that for their own protection, they would soon need a sword, but they missed his far more important message that what was written about Christ was about to be fulfilled. Christ's command to put away their swords had two important aspects. The first is what this lesson has been all about. Christ immediately rebukes Peter, asking, "Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me?" This is about trusting God's prophesied plan and not our own. It is about trusting the cross for our salvation, not our own futile efforts. The second part is the fact that Jesus was saving his disciples. As I mentioned earlier, we are talking about 11 disciples from various trades, none of whom were trained as soldiers. Peter's not John Wick. In fact, we can likely assume that Peter wasn't aiming for Malchus' ear, but his head. He intended his blow to be a fatal one and missed. How in the world would he be able to take on a large crowd, including trained temple guards and a Roman detachment, when he couldn't even kill a servant? We don't need to spiritualize Jesus' meaning when he says, "Put your swords back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword," when it's quite literally true that if his disciples didn't sheathe their swords immediately, they would most certainly be slaughtered where they stood or arrested and crucified alongside of him. The same as telling them to buy a sword was meant for their own protection in the missionary work they were about to embark upon. It was also for their immediate protection that he told them at this moment to put their swords away, lest they be killed. Jesus had a mission to fulfill, but so did they. And while they would face similar deaths as their master one day, this was not meant to be that day. Jesus is intervening to de-escalate the situation and save the disciples' hides. It was clear what was about to happen because it is at this point that all the disciples fled into the darkness of night.
What if recording high-quality content, editing like a pro, and streaming like a star was as simple as hitting record? With Riverside, it's just that. Riverside makes the entire process easy.
Okay. Well, so what I want people to understand is this here. Just like you are what you consume, it's the same way the way you live your life is how you're going to lose your life. If you live your life in peace, you're probably going to more than likely lose your life to natural causes. If you eat very bad and don't take care of your health, you're going to lose your life the same way. So if you don't take care of your health and wellness, you're going to lose your life by being unhealthy. By you being out here being promiscuous, you're going to lose your life due to an STD. So like I said, how you live your life is how you're going to pass away. And if you don't change and grow, evolve, and elevate and mature to the person that God wants you to be, then you're going to be in the same predicament. It's just like right here, for example, this is a story. It says, my mother died of cancer when I was still in college. She was diagnosed with brain tumor in the spring and was gone before Christmas. My dad was devastated and in his grief withdrew from the world. He could not be there for us kids to lean on emotionally. It was a very difficult time in my life. What got me through was the support I received from the church in my college town, and what was probably the loneliest time of my life, I was nevertheless surrounded by love. Various members of the congregation invited me over for home cooked meals or pizza and movie nights. These folks encouraged me that God is still there, and through their loving actions, I experienced God's grace, and God was with us even when we feel alone. And that's true. God is with you when everybody walk out your life. God is with you through that breakup. God is with you through everything that you deal with. So sometimes things are being moved from you because these people are not worth you. They don't deserve you. And you went looking for them. You went looking for the wolves in sheep's clothing. Boy and girl that cry, wolves, sirens, vampires, snakes, Jezebels, harlots, and succubus. You went looking for them. And they found you. And sometimes when you ain't looking, they find you. So at the end of the day, you're going to have people that's going to sit up here and come into your world, not because they're meant to be there, because they're there to destroy it. They're there to destroy you. They're there to suck the life out of you. They're there to take advantage of you. They are there to manipulate, bamboozle, lead you astray, and take you down right along with them. And that is exactly the truth, the whole truth. Just like for some people, if I go down, you going down with me. Same thing. You live by a sword, you die by a sword. It's just like in the military. If the person that is your colonel or sergeant does not lead you in the right direction, guess what's going to happen? Something bad going to happen. It's just like when I heard about them soldiers that lost their lives because they hit one of those mines and passed away by accident. But if somebody would have been paying attention, they would have known. When you don't let God lead you, you're gonna be led around the wrong path that you shouldn't be on, and a place that you shouldn't be on at all. And then it says in 2 Corinthians 1:3-4, blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comfort us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. God is the comfort. Help me lift my eyes and look beyond myself. What people around me are in need of your consolence. Have you given me this difficult experience to equip me to help them? Are there other aligning people who will listen to me because I know what they're going through? Are there people visiting me who are troubled by worries and fear? Are there doctors and nurses who are overworked and desperately in need of a moment of joy or a word of love? Show me these needs and how I can meet them. And then it says, how often do we lose perspective by focusing on trivial, annoying details of life? I think most of us have this experience. After a bad day, we're caught sights of some natural beauty by happenstance and find ourselves magically renewed. Life is about focusing on the beautiful and the fulfillment of letting go of silly and constraining. Next time I find myself overwhelmed, Lord, I will seek out nature and immerse myself in it for a half an hour. Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes in the grass under the tree on a sunny day, listening to the murmur of the water and watching the clouds floating across the sky is not by no means a waste of time. A lot of y'all are so busy trying to be society standards that you're losing yourself. You're not being God's standards. God's standards is completely different. God's standards is you ain't supposed to work for the rest of your life. God's standards is you're supposed to travel and see what's out there. God's standards is get up from the computer, get off social media, and just step outside and get some fresh air. Get in your car and drive and don't even know where you're going. Don't even know where you end up at. Just know you're going to end up somewhere. And let God lead you to where you meant to go. Whatever you meant to do, let God guide you through it, through Jesus' leadership or whatever your spirituality or religion is. Let it guide you. Just give it to God and say, look, whatever direction I'm meant to be on, whatever it is I'm meant to do, I'm letting you lead it. I'm not trying to lead it. I'm going to let you lead it. Whatever direction I'm going to go, I'm going to let you go ahead. I'm just going to follow. I don't know exactly where I'm going. I just know I'm going somewhere. So sometimes you need to let God lead you in the direction that you meant to go on instead of you trying to lead yourself and letting other people lead you. And then it also says in my women's prayer book, we work on an island inside efficient cubicles and small as a closet. The private as an elevator and as cozy as a phone booth. Lord, give us the courage to peek around the corner. We want to take down the walls a notch. It's not good for folks to live, work alone. So, I want people to understand socialization is important, but not when it destroys your mental health. It ain't. Okay? Is it easy being alone? No, it ain't. But sometimes it's needed for you to figure out what your next move is going to be. Trust me, God going to bring the right people. All you got to do is start the process. That's what happened to me after the sex code. I met some phenomenal people. I'm still meeting phenomenal people. But I'm not going to sit up here and say that it's going to be easy, because it ain't. It ain't going to be easy at all. It's hard. Anybody who sit here and say that life ain't hard, you couldn't be more wrong. If you think you're not going to go through a period of being alone, a period of finding yourself and finding what your next move is going to be and what is best for you, then you have another thing coming. Like I said, at the end of the day, we all are going to go to Judgment Day. We all going to have to explain why we didn't do whatever it was that we were supposed to do. At the end of the day, God gonna say, well, you rather listen to these people and not listen to me. Some of y'all, these other people are so loud you can't even hear God. God didn't tell you to go that direction. God didn't tell you to move that way. God told you to sit still. God told you to sit still and wait and focus on yourself. And then when you are where you need to be and you're ready to be out there in the world, then God will bring people in your world. But God is not gonna bring nobody into your world if you ain't ready. If you're gonna keep going through the same things you've been going through, then no, God is not gonna bring people in your world knowing they can cause damage. Why in the world would he bring somebody in your world that's gonna cause a whole bunch of damage that you don't want in your world at the end of the day? So what I want people to understand that, yes, is it okay to go through what you're going through? No, it's not. So all I will say to you is this here. Is the path of being a godly person easy? No. But everything you went through is going to lead you to a choice. And this is where the cocoon stage, this is before you even enter the cocoon stage. This is when you're in the hibernation stage. Which way you going to go? God's standards, your standards, or society standards, or the devil's standards. If you choose God's standards, you ain't never going to be accepted by the society. You ain't never going to belong. And you may not ever get married at that. You may not ever get married because Jesus was never married. So you may be one of them people that may not ever get married. You may not have the same experiences as these other people that are feeding into the demonic world that we're in. And that's okay, but guess what? You're the one traveling. You're the one seeing the world. You're the one that's seeing what's out there. You're the one that's successful. You're the one that basically has a community around you that you're helping. So the love that you would have given to a child, the love that you would have given to a man or a woman, you are giving to a community. You are building a community of people like yourself who do not belong. And as godly people, we ain't supposed to. We ain't supposed to belong. We ain't supposed to be having sex till marriage. Nothing for us is supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be challenging. But the blessings you get when you say to God, Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready to give you all of me. I'm ready for the Holy Spirit to guide me. And I don't mean you just saying it. You actually mean it. The same way Job did when Job got on that ground naked and said to God, I'm ready. I'm ready. Because when God showed him the truth, Job finally understood. Job was like, you can take it all, but my faith in you is not going to waver. I came in this world naked. I'm going to leave this world naked. So I need people to understand that when you are going through recovery, you got a choice to make. Either you gonna be a person of God and you not gonna feed into this world and this society. You ain't gonna live the way this society does. You gonna do what you need to do based upon God, and you are going to try to bring as much lost souls to God. Whether it be community centers, whether it be education, whether it be a life coach, you are doing something that is of service. That is what you're doing. When God tell you to sit still, sit your behind still. When God says, I need you to be alone, you need to be alone. When God pull these people from you, and when God show you the truth about these people, believe it. Believe it. Let them walk out. They can take whatever they can take from you as long as they don't take your life. That's what matters. That's what I learned in this isolation cocoon and hibernation stage. I chose God. So now I don't want nor am I interested in anything that is society standards. I no longer want to be a part of society standards. So the reason you see me the way you see me is because of that. I am a person of God. I don't want to have sex before marriage. My standards are not going to waver. I love myself, flaws and all. You can say what you want to about me, but I'm just going to look at you, pray for you, and keep it moving. I don't care who walk out. As long as I did what God wanted me to do, that's all I can do at this point in junction. So I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh my God, this person don't want to be my friend. What am I gonna do? The same thing I did before I met that person. Live. I'm not gonna be running around being a harlot, a succubus, and a siren. And a Jezebel. For what? The minute you say something negative to me, I'm not interested. Cause I can sit there and look at something and be like, why am I even watching this? Don't y'all get to that point sometime? You'll be seeing the celebrity news and you just want to just keep on strolling. Cause you don't even care nothing about it no more. You don't want nothing to do with none of that. You don't want nothing to do with anything that's going to jeopardize and impact and affect your health and wellness. Your whole entire life is based upon your health and wellness. Do you know it's all I listen to is educational stuff? And occasionally I might look to see what's going on in the world. But I noticed that when I tune the world out, I don't even worry about it. But by the end of the day, I'll catch up by the end of the week. It'll take me a week to pretty much see what's going on. And then if I really want to know, God will show me. But when God says, I want you to leave this person alone, this ain't the person for you. Oh, okay. If God says this ain't the man you supposed to be married to, okay. The problem is you got to figure out which one is the one talking to you. Is it God or is it the devil? Either way, you got to figure it out. So going through recovery, you're going to learn that part. You're going to learn how to distinguish the difference between God's people and the devil's people. Which person got demonic spirits and which one is a person of God. Trust me, it ain't going to be that hard to figure it out. Because there is one surefire way to find out. I ain't having sex till marriage. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I can't do nothing for you. I can't do nothing. I can't help you. I ain't got the money. I just can't do it. So when you start telling people that, see what their reaction is going to be for that. So when you sit there and you're like, you know, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. See how many people going to be there for you. Pretend to be broke. Let people sleep on you. And you just go and disappear. Don't let nobody know except the people that need to know that you're okay. Don't completely disappear and nobody know where you're at. But just don't tell nobody what you're doing. You can let people know where you're at. Just don't let nobody know what you're doing. Take the time, get off social media. Instead of worrying about celebrities, why don't you yourself become one? Why don't you yourself do something that's going to make you in that place? It's a shame how people look up to celebrities, but yet you're not doing what you need to do to better yourself. You're wasting time every day worrying about some celebrity's downfall, but yet and still you ain't where you need to be. And you think you have the right to sit up here and talk about other people. Some of y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Seriously. Purity and complete shame of yourselves. I get it though. I do. I absolutely get it. When they come down to seeing people's destruction, trust me, I get it. But at the same time, when you get there and it happened to you, then it's going to be a whole different conversation. Because then it's going to be, well, I had no idea. Because when you get caught up and you get exposed, now you're not going to think about the person who you actually exposed. So yeah, there's karma. But here's also another thing I need people to understand. You can't help those who don't want to help themselves. You can only meet people from where they are. So just because you see a puppy on the side of the road does not mean you need to pick it up. Because you never know. You might wake up and that thing's attacking you. So I'll use the greatest example of all, a snake. Let's use a snake for example. Let's just say you have a snake in your house. No, let's just say you brought a rattlesnake home. Now we all know rattlesnakes are very big snakes, right? So you let the rattlesnake sleep in the bed with you, which is a real story because it actually happened to a few people. Put the rattlesnake in your bed. The rattlesnake gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you put this thing in your bed. And you're thinking this thing is not going to harm you because you feed it, because you take care of it. Well, what happened in a little shop of horror? Feed me, Simone. Feed me all night long. Yeah, you can do it. Feed me, Simone. Feed me all night long. Yeah. 'Cause if you feed me, Simone, I will grow up big and strong. And that's exactly what the snake did. And what the snake was doing, it was trying to figure out how to eat her. So it would wrap itself around her slowly, figuring out how she moves and figuring out how can I get her in my stomach. Well, and also was poisoning her slowly but surely. Because I'm very sure it was biting her at the same time. So finally, when it got her where she was poisoned to the point where she couldn't move, it struck and ate her. And had a field day. So guess what? Negative people do the same thing. They watch you, they observe you, and then when they feel they got you, that's when they strike. You think people don't strike the same way that animals do? We're all mammals. Mammals all strike the same way. We observe you, we watch you, and we'll see how you move. It's just like when you go and you play a game. For example, let's say, White Man Can't Jump. Wesley Snipes made Woody Harrison the first time he played against him, thinking that he won, when in all actuality, he lost. So he let him beat the first game. And then the second game they came back just to see how they played, and then after that they won. Why? Because after a while he figured out how to beat him. So yeah, Woody did outbeat Wesley Snipes because Wesley Snipes was too cocky and confident. And somebody who wasn't actually beat the person that's cocky and confident. You want to know how you beat somebody cocky and confident? Let them think they've won and then turn around and destroy them in the same swoop. It's just really simple, to be honest. So all I'm saying is you got to be mindful of how you play the game. And the one thing I love about 48 Laws of Power, it teaches you that. It teaches you how to strategize. It teaches you how to deal with people in general and how to manage. So is it easy? No. But sometimes you're going to have to lose to win. And sometimes you may not always win all the time, and it's okay. If you don't get the job, it's okay. It ain't meant for you. A lot of y'all sitting up here panicking. Oh my God, I ain't got no job. Oh my God, I got laid off. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Nothing. Nothing. You're going to deal with the emotions of it. You're going to basically figure out where you went wrong. And then you're going to start figuring out what your next move is going to be. Are you going to go get another job, or are you going to build a business? So if you say, okay, I'm going to build a business, then guess what you're going to do? The next job you get, you're going to build your business and your brand and start making money. And then when you make $20,000 a month, then quit your job. But make sure it's $20,000 for the next 3 years. Don't just quit your job just because you made $20,000 within a month. Wait about 2 years and then quit your job. You're not going to sell your business. If anything, you're going to partner with these people so they can basically distribute your stuff. So again, you are what you consume. So I just want you to understand that, like I said, you don't have to follow the trends. You ain't got to do what everybody else is doing. You can be the person that you are and love yourself even when no one else does, and enjoy the time by yourself. Enjoy the fact of being one with God and reading the Bible and working on your book. That way you're not disturbed. Do you know when you're around people, you ain't never going to get done what you need to do? That's the whole point of being alone. Being alone is not because there's something wrong with you. Being alone, it means there's something that God needs you to do, and it needs you to get away from everybody else to do it. Because if you don't, you're never going to get it done. If you're around people and you're trying to write a book, it ain't never going to get done. If you're trying to build a business and a brand and you're around other people, it ain't never going to get it done. If you got people constantly telling you that you can't do something, it ain't never going to get done. That's the whole point of being by yourself. That way nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows what the world you got going on. The only thing they know is you're doing something. So you might be working a regular 9-to-5 job and still building a business. You could be somebody in a domestic violence situation and working. This man don't even know you're working. So again, it's chestnut checkers. So when you're alone, it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means you're not meant to be in the world right now. It ain't meant for you to have friends right now, because you need to build yourself. So when you accept the world for what it is and you accept the fact of how this world is, you know how to maneuver in it. So if you know that you're not society standards, then guess what? You're not going to want to be. That tells you you're not society standards. You're God standards. So guess what? Now you have standards. So now when you lose the weight, now you are healthier. Now you living and doing well for yourself. Now when people see you and they're like, oh my God, I knew you could do it. Nope, 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 nope. Because I remember when I was broke. Don't ever forget what you went through. Don't act like it didn't exist. Let people know. Nah, I know you would never be interested in me. And like, what do you mean? Sweetheart, I used to be overweight. And men like you would never date me. Why would you date me now just because I lost 20, 30 pounds? Remember that. Don't ever forget how people treated you when you were broke. They don't mean be vindictive. It just means if all of a sudden now men are looking at you now just because you're not as big as you used to be, then that is insane. Don't forget how you were treated. Don't forget you went through sexual assault. Don't forget all the men you dated that weren't worth you. Don't forget that. Because then when you start making your choice of men, you can tell God, I don't want a man that is not of God. So instead of saying what you want, say what you don't want. And God will give you that. So, for example, if I said, Heavenly Father, I ask you when it comes to the person that's going to be my husband, I don't care what race he is. I don't care whether he's black, white, or Hispanic. I don't care whether he's extremely attractive or not. I want him to have a great heart, that God, that you lead his life. So you see what I mean? Not once did I say anything about looks. I said something about his character, that he's a man of God and that God leads his life. And it ain't too many of them out here that actually do that. So again, sometimes you got to sit still because the right person will come along. But right now, while you waiting, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Work on becoming the wife that your future husband is going to be looking for. So what you do is you work out, you build your business, you build your brand, you see the world, and while you out there, you might actually meet the person. But before you say yay and nay, don't look at what they look like. Look at their conversation. Look at the way they think and how they go about things. Then you can make a decision. But don't sit up here and just think, oh my God, he's drop good gorgeous. Oh my God, she's pretty. And I'm just going to date her because she's pretty. Or because he's drop dead gorgeous. That's not a good reason. A person that is of God don't care nothing about that. If anything, they already know there's a wolf in sheep clothing. They're going to know there's a vampire, a snake, and they already know this man is only coming because he wants something. So, you're not ugly. There's nothing wrong with you. God just made you flawed to protect you from people that really don't want you anyway. At all. So I just want y'all to understand it's not an easy journey. It ain't. And it ain't for the faint of heart. It really ain't. It ain't for everybody. So I just want people to understand that. You gotta love you for who you are, no matter what. No matter what somebody says or does, you have to live your life based on what is best for you. So even though you may think you deserve certain things, and maybe you do, but the environment that you're in is not going to appreciate it. Environment plays a very big part of that. So if your environment doesn't accept you, then you need to move to a different environment. That's all that is. Sometimes it is just the environment. No matter how much you wear makeup, no matter how much you change your hair, you are still going to be the same insecure person you've always been. So changing your outer appearance does not change the inner part. Just because a person is outer, as far as outer appearance is great, does not mean they're happy. Doesn't mean they're not lonely or bitter or whatever. So that's pretty much what that means. I was trying to find a song, but I can't think of one right now off the top of my head. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a song and it's like really driving me crazy. In fact, I can't think of a song right now. Hold on. I'm trying to think of a song. I'm trying to think of a really, really, really good song that's gonna work for this particular podcast. Because there is a song I have in mind, but I got one. I got one. Give me a second. This song right here was a song that when my ex passed away, and when I lost him, I was in a very dark place. Okay? A very extremely dark place. I did not think I deserved to be here. I was like, take me with you. I want to go. I remember when I almost committed suicide before I found out. Well, this was like maybe a couple of months before I got pregnant. My son is what saved my life. A lot of people don't know that. Getting pregnant was not my plan, but at the same time, my son was my saving grace. In all honesty, he was absolutely my saving grace, and without him, I don't even know if I would still be on this planet right now. Without him. So I want people to understand that video when he talked about how the devil is gonna hit you either way. If devil can't hit you mentally, it's gonna hit you emotionally. If he can't hit you emotionally, he's gonna hit you financially. If he can't hit you financially, he'll hit you psychologically. If he can't hit you psychologically, he's gonna hit you far as spiritually. If he can't hit you spiritually, he's gonna hit you internally and externally when it comes to your overall health and wellness. I need people to understand this. So I'm gonna play this song because, again, for a lot of you, y'all are in this place. And the reason you're doing what you're doing as far as the addictions and all of that, it centers around the confusion of what is right and what is wrong. And a lot of y'all have lost your moral compass. You have lost your morals, values, principles, and ethics. And you think by making excuses that that's going to make it better. No, it makes things worse. So, this is me where I was in this dark place. This is me after the sex cult and what happened in that situation. This is me before God picked me up and made me the woman that's sitting here talking to y'all. Okay? This was me when I was being harassed for 10 hours straight and people were telling me to take my life. This was me. So you want to know how I felt during that situation with the sex cult, even though I didn't show it? I'll let you for yourself how I felt. So I'm gonna play the song and then I'll come back after I play the song. So give me a minute. I'm gonna mute myself so it won't echo, and I'll be back in a second.
Never thought it'd catch me, never thought it cost me, never thought it hurt me, never thought I'd fall in love, but I did. I feel like somebody dropped a ton of bricks on my stomach. I can't eat, I can't sleep, and it hurts me so deep. I heard people talk about it and laugh like it'll never happen to me. Now look at me, it caught me. See how quick karma comes around. Who says a man ain't supposed to cry? Wish I could crawl under a rock somewhere and just die. Just want the pain to go away. Today, I don't wanna cry no more. And I don't wanna hurt no more. And I don't wanna love no more. Especially if it causes this. I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of it. Because it hurts me so bad. Even when it's sunny outside, it still feels like it's raining. Yeah. No clouds inside, but I still need your umbrella. Oh. Sometimes I wish I wouldn't have never let you in, and then wish I wouldn't have met you, fell in love with you, and I wouldn't feel like I do. Who says a man ain't supposed to cry? Wish I could crawl under somewhere and just die. I just want the pain to go away today. Especially if it causes this. I don't want no touch me, never thought it cost me, never thought it hurt me, never thought I'd fall in love. Oh no, oh no. Never thought it touch me, never thought it cost me, never thought it hurt like this. I just want the pain to go away today. I don't wanna cry no more. Yeah, especially if it goes, especially if it goes. I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of it. Cause it hurts me so bad, so bad. Never thought it touched me, never thought it cost me, never thought it hurt me, never thought I'd fall in love, but I did. Never thought it touched me, never thought it cost me, never thought it hurt me like this, like this.
So, all in all, that's how I felt personally. That's what I had to endure and what I had to deal with. Wondering, never thinking in a million years that not only would love catch you, that it would cost you or hurt you. You would never think that. You would never think that somebody that you love would hurt you in such a way. That you would lose somebody in death, that all your friends and family would walk out on you. You would have thought that the person that molested you would do such a thing. People who claim they love you, not really loving you at all. But before I go, I went from that to this. Hold on. So I want people to understand that I went from this.
Walmart Black.
The Bush Guide.
I ain't meant to do that. I meant to do this. So I went from. Let me go back. Okay. I went from being in one of the most darkest places in my life. And even though I've always believed in God, I always believed in God, I always knew that God existed. There was one time that I wasn't sure when I was a kid, and I didn't think that God existed. Because I didn't understand how in the world I could go through so much pain and God not be there for me. But then God showed me what it would be like to be without Him. And that was not fun. So when I went through what I went through in this last situation, and then being sick, I learned a very important and very valuable lesson. And that is that when you finally are in the last stages of your recovery, you got to make a decision before you even go into the new version of yourself. Is a new version of yourself still going to be a lost soul? Is a new version of you still doing negative things? Is a new version of you still following people that's leading you astray? Is a new version of you going to continue doing the same things you've been doing? Is a new version of you letting people lead you astray and lead you down the path to craziness? Or is a new version of you going to be better than what you were before? The new version of you is going to be a person that is of God, where God leads your life by Jesus's guidance. Or if you are a Muslim or Protestant or Kabbalah, whatever your religion is, you are finally living that the way you're supposed to be living it. So this last song right here is where I'm going to end it, and then I'm going to bed. This is where I'm at now in the new version of myself, and the wonderful thing that is the cocoon stage. So when you are in the isolation stage, this is when You are going through every single part of your life to where you are basically learning and growing and evolving and elevating. The hibernation stage is when while the world is continuously going on, you're working on yourself, and you're learning from your mistakes, and you're researching and learning critical thinking, common sense and common judgment, morals, values, principles, and ethics. You're figuring out what your standards are, what you stand for, and what you believe in. You're now basically working on the prototype of the new version of yourself. And at the end of it, you say to yourself, whether I'm going to live my life of God or if I'm going to live my life based upon the devil. Am I going to live my life the way I'm supposed to, or am I going to live my life based on society standards? And whichever way you choose, direction you're going to go. But the person that basically through self-discovery comes to the realization, I don't want to do demonic things no more. Not saying you're going to be perfect, because nobody's perfect. But you're not going to do it because it's intentional. You're not doing anything because it's something you're doing intentional. It's something that can happen because you might bring the wrong person in your life. But even if you do, it's going to be easier for you to be able to spot it. So even though in the beginning you may not realize this person's not good for you, doesn't mean in the end that you won't. All the things that coulda, shoulda, wouldas, you're now going to do. Whatever your coulda, shoulda, wouldas, your emotional intelligence is, my dopamine is going to be evenly killed. So it's not going to go up or down. It's going to stay exactly where it is. And you understand that even if it does go up and down, it's temporary. It's not permanent. So all the things that might make you feel when it comes to mentally and psychologically and emotionally is temporary. Only physically where it can be permanent, depending on what you're dealing with. So this is where I am now in my life now. And this is a song that represents where I'm at now and my relationship with God, and God being my husband. And at the end of the day, nobody can come between that, because they can't. God is my husband, my best friend, the Father. God is my everything. I let the Holy Spirit take my life, and I am living my life the way I'm supposed to. Now, mind you, I'm still a work in progress, but I'm getting there. But I made my choice. I choose God. So as far as negativity is concerned, I don't want no parts of it. As far as living society standards, I'm not interested in none of it. But it doesn't mean I doesn't mean that because I'm in the world doesn't mean I'm a part of it. I just choose not to be a part of it, but that doesn't mean I'm not still in the world, because I am. So this song is what helped me through one of the most darkest situations of my life and where I'm at now. And this time I intend to stay in the peaceful, quiet, tranquil, righteousness, prosperity, and abundance, love, happiness, and success that I intend to be. Because I'm at peace. And this is a peace that is spiritual that you can't take away from me. Because I ain't going to allow you to take it from me. This is a peace that if you don't understand how peaceful my life is and you going to come in with chaos, I'm going to send you right back out there. So I'm going to play this song, and then I'm going to get ready to go to bed. So here we go.
No more sitting at home tonight, waiting for you to come home. No more will I cry for you. I found somebody new. No more late night phone calls. Don't even bother at all. When I was there for you, you took me for granted. Now he loves me the way that I wanted you to love me. He's always thinking of me. He's nothing like you at all. I don't know why I stayed with you for so long. I should have. He's nothing like you at all. That's why I say, wow, never felt so good. I look up and my world is brighter now. There's no more rainy clouds. Let's clear it out. Every day I wear a smile. word is gone. Every night he's loving me. I feel like inside a movie, but his love is so real to me. He's here. I finally found someone that I can call my own. Now that I'm done with you, you want me to come back. Now he loves me, way that I wanted you. Love me. He's always thinking of me. He's nothing like you at all. I don't know. I'll stay with you for so long. I know I shouldn't. Oh, I know that he's nothing like you at all. That's why I say wow. You look so good. I look up in my world. There's no more rain. There's love's here and every day I wear a smile. In my life, the clouds are gone. I only see the sun. Oh, wow. Never felt love so good. I never felt a love so good. No of everything. It never rains or no more. Every day I wear a smile. He came in. I only see the sun. No more trouble since you came into my life. I'm so for you. You're the reason why I am so happy, baby. You and me together is like my secret. This is why I say, oh, and I thank you for being my love. You changed my life. There is no more way you shelter me. Oh, every day I wear a smile. My love was on. I only see the sun. Oh, so good. The world is brighter now. There's no more rainy clouds. Every day I wear a smile. Clouds are gone, yeah, yeah. I only see the sun.
And that's where my world is now. Happy. And that's God. God is my best friend. God is my husband. God is my everything. There is nothing that I can't handle with God leading me through the path of it. There are times, yeah, I would be scared, have anxiety. There were days I felt alone, confused. Why is all of this happening to me? And God was like, because you're a child of God. No other reason than that. You don't have to do anything for negative people to come into your world and try to destroy it. But the point that I'm trying to make is no matter how many people walk out of your world, God will still be there no matter what. Jesus gave his life for all of us, and what do? Continue to sin anyway. So recovery is about making a very life-altering decision of giving your life to God and doing your best to stay away from negativity. Now, you can't avoid it, but that doesn't mean you have to participate in it. Just because you are looking around and seeing everybody doing these things doesn't mean you got to do it. And that's what recovery is. Recovery is healing from the pain of your life that you are facing and realizing you can't do these things. Being negative is not your character. You're not meant to be a person that's demonic. You're meant to be a person that is of God, helping people, being the best version of yourself is what you are meant to be. So that song isn't just because of that. That's for every person that's hurt me, every person that's walked out my life for whatever reason they walked out for. Go ahead and walk on out. Because God will be right here. God will see me through every battle, every whatever. And even though right now I'm in this house by myself and nobody calls me, guess what? God loved me, even when the rest of y'all don't. When everybody walked out and decided they wanted to believe them crazy people, guess what? Still stood 10 toes down. I did what God asked me to do with no apologies. So, no. I went from being in this really dark place of sitting in darkness, just sitting. It was just like sitting in a dark room, a bunch of wolves. Yeah, they are. I'm sitting in a dark room with just one single solitary light. Just sitting there with a bunch of wolves surrounding me. And God is keeping that light on me to protect me from them wolves. To keep me safe. So sometimes you have a bunch of wolves wanting to eat you. Vampires wanting to suck the life out of you. Liars, deceivers. But guess what? That light will still shine on you. Even if everybody walk out and leave you for dead after they done sucked the life out of you, after they done broke you, guys, that light is still on you. As long as there's a light at the end of the tunnel and as long as you can survive and you ain't leave this earth yet, you will live another day. You will be in a different phase. But eventually, in recovery, a choice got to be made. Are you going to be a person of God or a person of the devil? There's no way around it. And when you become that person of God, when I tell you, it's going to be unlike any other feeling. When I tell you, once you do, everything is going to change. Because now when you walk out that door, you know it's a possibility it may be a car accident. You understand that when you walk out that door, you might be approached by a bunch of crazy people. You may even have to encounter human trafficking people. But you know when you walk out that door, the goal is to go get where you need to go and come back home. That is your goal. Your safest place is your tranquil place, should be your house. So when you walk out that, when you walk in this door, that's like my baby. My son, even though he being there playing the PlayStation, it don't bother me. Why? Because he is my tranquility. When me and him used to live in the house, our house was quiet. It was quiet. It was quiet. He played his game. I didn't bother him. He came in, Mommy, can I get something to drink? It's in the kitchen. Me and my son lived a very peace and quiet life until the chaos. So again, if your house is not your sanctuary and your peace and quiet, then welcome to chaos. And who you bring into that peace and quiet needs to understand, look, this is my peace and my quiet and my tranquility. You're not bringing this into my world. I don't want no parts of chaos. If you got chaos, please turn around and walk yourself out, because I ain't got time for this. If you're going to play games and do all this stuff and I got to deal with multiple women, no, please go ahead and leave. You can leave. You can leave. You can leave. I've been tired of you and you tired of me. I don't want, You can go. If you think you're going to bring a bunch of people around me and my sanctuary that is my peace, quiet, and tranquility, you have lost your mind if you believe that. If you believe you're going to come out your mouth and say something and think I'm not going to look at you like you're crazy and laugh at you and be like, do you feel better now that you said all this stuff? Because I really don't care at this point. Because I'm at a peace where I don't care who likes me. I don't care who walks out. By all means, please, by all means, go ahead, walk out. I wish I could play the Chris Brown song, Sweet Lullaby. Do, 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 do. I'm telling you, I love this song. That's one of the, as a matter of fact, I'll play it. If it blocks, I'm going to take it off, though. When I edit it, I'm going to take the song off. Because I know I'm going to have to. But this song right here, when I heard it, I don't know, it just spoke to me. It just spoke to me. When you hear the words of it, some of y'all have had to deal with somebody like this. So when you hear it, it's really gonna make you think. It's gonna really make you really be like, I've met somebody like this, but there's not one person that has not met a person that you just got to let go of. It's just like that lullaby that you be like, when you outgrow it and you be like, I don't even want to hear it because it bring back bad memories. It's just like when you see that person for the first time that hurt you and you're just sitting there like, I don't even want to have this conversation. But you need to have it for closure. Let me tell you something about closure. I'm being most real and transparent. No, you don't need closure. Let me tell you how you get closure. This is what you do. You send this person a message and let it be that. Send them an email, messenger, DM. I don't care how you send it. WhatsApp. Send it and leave it alone. And don't ever go back to it. That's your closure. Because you're not gonna get the closure that you want. The way you get your closure is when you talk to God and say, like, for example, as a life coach, I'm gonna be the person you gonna say everything to that you would have said to your mama, daddy, everybody, and then you gonna burn it. I'm gonna have you write a letter to every and it ain't even gotta be one ex. It's all of them. You're gonna write a letter to every single last one of your exes, and then you're gonna burn it. You're gonna say a letter to your parents, and they ain't never gonna hear about it. Cause this is what you're gonna do. All them letters that you wrote is going right into a book. You're gonna write a book about every single last person that wronged you. You ain't gonna say names, but but here's the thing, here's the kicker of it all. When it comes to your parents, this is what you're gonna say. What I went through with my parents, I'm not going through as of right now. My parents are better people than what they were back then. So again, for your closure, by the time you get done with your journal, you're gonna make it into a book. And when I tell you, so many people gonna have, in other words, you might be a life coach by the time I'm done with you. But this song is forever a single last one of my exes. Every last one of them. Let me mute myself. Because when I heard this song, it hit home for me. Because there are some people that I have to let that pain, I had to let go of, and it was not easy letting that pain go. I was like, Jesus, how in the world am I going to let this go? So, I'm going to play this and mute myself, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to close this out because I'm going to bed. So, give me a second. So, all in all, that's Siren. I got a song for every last one of them. Siren, Jezebel, all of them. I'm sorry, I can't feed into the sirens no more. I can't feed into the representation of a person. I can't do it. And that is the one thing I learned through this journey of isolation. When I go back into the world, I'm not looking at a person's representation. Because I will see straight through it. When you become a person of God, it is not going to be hard for you to spot lies. But the difference is you're going to let it play out. And sometimes you're not even going to even let it go that far. You're going to be like, I can't do it. It's going to be easier for you to walk away from people. It ain't going to be no holding on to nobody. So if you really want to know why independent, self-sufficient is so important, because when people walk out, you still got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You came in this world by yourself, unless you had a twin or triplet or whatever. But you came in this world by yourself. And you're going to leave this world by yourself. So I wouldn't be worrying about everybody else. I'd be more focused on myself. That's what I would do. So if you want to know the reason y'all see me the way I am, because the way these people tried to destroy my life, the way these people tried to put everything about me out there, ain't no point of me trying to be anything else but who I truly am. And the smoke and mirrors ain't nothing. When I hear the song, smoke and mirrors ain't nothing but the makeup, the fake hair, the fake nails, all of that. It's a smoke and mirror. It's not real. The representation of people is not real, because eventually you will see what they really look like. And that's why there are a lot of men that end up divorcing, because when they find out what she really looked like, they don't want nothing to do with her. What people don't know is I got makeup sitting right over there. I got makeup sitting right. Matter of fact, I just bought some eyeshadow the other day. So yeah, I got some eyeshadow, lipstick, lip gloss, got all of that. And there will be a time where I will be putting it on. But I'm not doing it for anybody else but myself. But here's the thing, by you showing who you really are, the funny part is when you show people what you look like dressed up, and a lot of people gonna be pretty shocked. They gonna be like, oh my God, she looks so different. No, I've always been the same person. It just, I don't feel that people deserve that from me. See, that's the one thing God taught me. You don't give everybody your best. No, you let people see. When God said, come as you are, that means when you see me as I am. You don't see me with bells and whistles. You ain't seeing me with none of that. But this vacation, you will. And there's a reason for that. Because 2025 is a new version of me that I'm happy with. Because my sister's going to do my hair. And my girlfriend will probably do my makeup. I mean, I could do the lipstick and eyeshadow myself, but yeah, I'm excited. Because, and it's not that I'm dressing up for them, I'm doing it for me. I have some really cute outfits I can't wait to wear. And I am losing weight. And I haven't eaten anything since after 6. I ate twice a day. I had some, and if I get something, if I have a sweet craving, I eat cereal bars if I have a sweet craving. But yeah, I fast for 16 hours a day. So let me say this to certain people. If when I get better, and I'm gonna claim it, when I get better, I am gonna get better. A new version of me is coming. When I go get this thyroid medicine to stop my thyroid from hurting, and it's helping with the anxiety, I'm gonna be able to drive. And I am buying a house. And I am gonna be happy. See, my whole thing is I ain't done nothing to deserve what I've been through. Nothing. I ain't done nothing. Except be a godly person. But then again, Jesus didn't do anything either. Some people don't do anything. All we've done is just exist. People hurt us just because we exist. That's primarily why. Sadly enough. I don't know why I got this song in my head. Look what this girl done did to me. She done cut me off from the good love. And I wish we never did it. I don't know why I got Trey songs on my brain. And I wish we never did it. Oh, this reminds me of somebody that's coming to my brain at the moment. I wish we didn't do a lot of things. But I have no regrets. Yeah. Y'all, people think I be mad when people walk out. No, I don't. I don't even care. Well, they asked me that. She like, did he call you? Nope. Are you mad? Nope. Let me tell you why. I'm not mad about it. Not going to say who the individual is because it don't even matter at this point. Because it's not even about the individual. It's about me. I am not somebody that gets mad because somebody can't do something for me. What I get mad about is the fact you wait till the last minute to tell me you can't do it. That's what I get mad about. Now, everybody in my life knows if you need me, I'll be there for you. My son's father just called me and asked me to do a favor for his daughter. And so I did so. And I get my money back on Tuesday. And I tell him if anything, now he knows me. He knows if anything changes, he'll let me know. If anything changes. He know the one thing that is my pet peeve, if you wait till the last minute to tell me you can't do something. Or you come to me last minute asking me to do something, I'm going to be very irritated. Now, my mother just asked me to get her some pajamas. I got her some bras, and I got to put them in a suitcase. And I told her that I would get her the bras. And I got the bras. I just haven't sent them to her yet because I ain't been up drive. But all I'm going to say is the type of person that I am, if I can't do something, there is extenuating circumstances why I can't do it. It ain't because I don't want to do it. It's because I just can't. If I'm not feeling well, I'm not doing nothing. I don't care. I just ain't doing it. Because I don't feel good. If I'm sick, I ain't doing it. My homegirl has just now figured this out about me. Everybody is so used to me being superwoman. They're so used to me being strong. God was like, no ma'am. We're going to sit you down for a while. Can't be strong forever. I am one of the most mentally strong people you'll ever meet. I am very mentally strong and I am very emotionally intelligent. I don't get mad very easily. I don't. I have this nonchalant because, again, I'm afraid that if I let my emotions go, I'm going to cry. The last time I did, I almost committed suicide, and I said to myself, I will never let myself get to that place. I will never get to myself to a place where I will ever even think about committing suicide. I saw my mother's face. My mother was scared to death when she found me. Got me to the hospital. They pumped the medications. Luckily, I had just started taking them. She caught me as I was taking them. She made me spit them out. To see my mother's face so scared, I said I would never do that again to her. So, no. And I'm meant to be here. And because of that, I will never let my emotions get too high or too low. It just ain't happening. So, I don't get disappointed when somebody can't do nothing. I don't even care. I'm like, okay. Because if I finally break down crying, I probably would end up trying to commit suicide. Y'all have no idea how much pain I have been through. That's why I'm so mentally strong, because I can't afford not to be. I haven't had, to be honest, I have been through hell. I'm not going to lie. And like I said, God is like, you know what? Let me take a break. So I'm alone because that's the way I should have been in the first place. But don't get me wrong, I have people around me that love me. Don't get me wrong. I do. But at the end of the day, am I sitting around worrying about it? No. That's why it was so easy for me to be able to go through the situation with the sex code. Because see, I'll cry and get right back up and keep it pushing because I ain't got no choice. When I found out my son had autism, it nearly broke me. But I, like a trooper that I am, brushed it off, got up and did what I needed to do. So I have learned that with my emotions, I'm never giving negative people that. Mm-mm. I will never give a negative person my emotions. That's not going to happen. Because I'm going to look at you with a smile on my face. I'm like, what is the whole point of all of this? My thing is, respect is everything to me. And so when I talk about smoke and mirrors, I'm talking about a particular individual. I was sick, for God's sake. Sick. And you mean to tell me this person couldn't understand that I was sick and could not understand why I couldn't do what they asked me to do? And so you want to end a friendship because of that? Okay. I will be okay with it. I am. I'm not going to shed no tears about it. Not even going to be mad about it. Because ain't nothing I can do about it. And I can't make somebody stay somewhere they don't want to be. So I wish you nothing but the best. And the reason I'm saying this, because I can't pick up the phone to call you. So I'm saying here, I've been nothing but a good friend to you. I've done nothing to deserve how I was treated. And didn't deserve it at all. I was sick, for God's sake. I went to the hospital and they told me my thyroid was expanded to the point I couldn't breathe. Do you have any idea what would have happened if my arm would have been pulled a certain way? I probably wouldn't be here. That's why I wasn't able to do what you asked me to do. Because in this area here, it is swollen, which is not too far from my shoulder. If I do my shoulder like this, it hurts, okay? It hurts really bad because it hits my throat. So if I'm being pulled by something, it's going to basically pull this, which in turn is going to make this hurt. That's why I wouldn't do it. It's extremely swollen. I don't know if they're going to have to remove it or give me medication. So that's why I said I couldn't do it. Not because I have a problem with it. I just couldn't do it until they figure out whether it's my shoulder or what they're going to do with my thyroid. But something is swollen. Extremely swollen. And it's affecting this whole entire area. And I'm right-handed. So that's why I couldn't do it. And instead of you trying to get some type of clarity about it, you said to me, you weren't going to do anything else for me. Okay. But because you, as always, think the worst of me, and instead of you trying to understand my situation, and instead of you saying, well, okay, I get it, I understand. No, you didn't. Am I mad about it? No. Because I have no reason to be. I wish you nothing but the best, I really do. But why would I want to be friends with somebody that could just not even try to even remotely have any empathy or sympathy to my situation? Why? And I can't call you and tell you this because you're not going to answer my phone calls, and pretty much you have me blocked. All because I couldn't do what you wanted me to do because this whole side of my shoulder was swollen. And I may have to have surgery. I'll find out on the 3rd. And plus, I'm having numbness again. So it really amazes me how just because of one situation where I couldn't do what you asked me to do, you decide you want to end a friendship. Okay, fine. I'm okay with it. I accept things for what they are. But I know I'm a good person. And I didn't deserve how you have treated me in any shape, form, or fashion. And if you think that I'm going to say anything negative about you, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's not how I operate. I don't believe in airing people out like that. But because I couldn't say what I needed to say, I figured I would say it here. As a person that's been through self-discovery, the old version of me, oh my God, would probably call a lot of people out. The new version of me is not worth that. Because it ain't. But what I will say to you is there are things you did that I could be mad about. I just choose not to be. See, I meet people where they are, and I don't try to change people. I don't get mad because I will figure out a way. That's just how I've always been. But the problem is everybody else don't think like me. Everybody puts all these expectations on me like I'm just supposed to, like I'm obligated. I'm not obligated to do anything. If I do something, it's because I choose to, because I choose to help people. That's what my character is, but not because I have to. But you promised my mother you would look out for me, and you did. That's why I'm going home. Because there is no way in the world if the situation was reversed would I ever do this to you. I would never be upset because you couldn't do something, especially if there was extenuating circumstances why you couldn't. Go figure. But it's amazing how everybody else around you can sit here and mess up and screw up every chance they get, and you will continuously continue to deal with them. Okay. Amazing. It's amazing how, like I said, I accept things exactly for what they are, and I don't try to change nothing, and I'm not going to. But as a godly person that I am not going to be mad about it. Matter of fact, I ain't even angry, upset about it. I'm glad I came here. I have no absolutely ill will towards anybody, and I don't. But in the end of this situation, when I pack up and leave and go back home, don't ask me why I left. I made a choice. Even though I came here thinking things were going to be different, I see now exactly what they are. But I'm glad I came with no mistakes, and I am glad because I wouldn't have got the answers medically that I needed to get better. So I'm glad I came. Came for medical reasons. Now that I found the answers, now I can go back to my doctors up there and they can help me figure out what exactly is what. So am I mad about any of this? No. I'm not. But again, I've learned through my experience of not going on dates and that, I'm well aware of how people going to treat me. I'm well aware of it. I am well aware I'm good enough to do everything else, but I'm not good enough to be a wife, and I'm not good enough to be a lot of things. But you know what? And I'm really okay with that. I am really okay that I am not good enough for a lot of things. I really am. I'm okay with it. It's amazing how people want you to do girlfriend and wife duties, but they don't want to take you nowhere. They don't want to do nothing with you. That has been my whole entire existence when it comes to men. I'm good enough to sleep with. I'm good enough to do all these things, but I ain't good enough to be your girlfriend or your wife. Okay, good. But then these other females y'all deal with don't even do half of what I do, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not even mad at it. And this is what I mean. When you come out your cocoon, you don't even want it at this point. You don't even want it. So let me break down to a lot of men why a lot of women are not even bothering. Why you're seeing more women dressing down, why you see more women without makeup, why you see more women not getting. When I tell you the beauty industry gonna come to a downfall, it is. It is. Because when you get down that black hole and you gotta basically look at yourself without that makeup, and you gotta face yourself the same way like Mateo did in a never in the story. A lot of y'all females are look. One of the assignments you gonna have to go without makeup for 6 months. No makeup, no fake hair, no nothing. You have to show people what you really look like, except at your job. You are taking off the mask. And every single individual on this planet got a mask. We all do. Because we're all told that certain things we do ain't right. I am no longer wearing that mask no more. And it is the most relieving feeling in the world. It is. So, Kimosabe, I am not mad. I'm not upset. I ain't even gonna let it bother me. Because I ain't. Like I said, I've done my best, but my best wasn't good enough. Okay, cool. You're gonna be mad at me? Okay, cool. Am I gonna worry about it? No. You wanna walk? I'm gonna let you walk right on out. I ain't got time for it at this point. Like I told my mom, I am not crying at this point. I'm done crying. I cried multiple times, but I'm not crying this time. Because I ain't done nothing to deserve what happened. You know my medical situation, and you know that is the only reason why. And yet you didn't respect it. But if you were sick, I'd have been there for you without question. I wouldn't have left you nowhere. I would have made sure you were good. But we do that, baby. But like I said, I have no anger or ill will. You're still a phenomenal person. You'll always be a phenomenal person. But you're just not my person. Used to it. I am so used to this. I can't even at this point get mad at this point. I am so used to people walking out over some of the most dumbest reasons. I just can't do it anymore. That's why for me, I'm good in my peace, in my quiet, in my tranquility. That's why I travel to Fort Lauderdale by myself. And that's why I might be going to Vegas by myself. No, I think my girlfriend said she's going with me. Her and my sister, I think they're going with me for Vegas. So certain people will get to meet my sister in person. But there's no ill will here. I have nothing negative to say. And I'm not coming on these cameras saying anything negative about you because I don't see the point. All I'm going to say to you is you're going to regret what you did. You're going to regret it. I'm not, but you are. Because like I said, I'm a good person. But there are times that people can't always. Here's the thing. Even though you're used to seeing somebody being strong, does not mean that they're going to be strong forever. Everybody is going to have a breakdown moment. Even some of the most strongest people. And there are going to be days they just can't. Because the expectations are so high. And that's how it's always been for me. I'm always the one that's expected to always be there. Can't always do it. Eventually you reach your breaking point, especially when you have past experiences when people didn't appreciate what you did. Especially when you have people that don't want act like they don't want to be seen with you. What you expect? Do you think this person is going to continue to do things when you make it seem like you're ashamed of this individual? When you make it seem like the only time you want to be around me is in private? All I asked was I just wanted to go to the movies and just do something, get out the house. I mean, you said to me you didn't want me to be stuck up in the house and be like I was when I was at home. Then I should have just stayed where I was at. But you promised my mother you would look out for me to make sure I was okay. And yet, you didn't. Because the time I needed you the most, when I was in the emergency room, you weren't there. What if something would have happened to me and nobody could get in touch with my mother? I would never leave you in this situation. See, being sick is different. It's one thing if nothing's wrong with you and there's the reason why you couldn't do whatever it is. I get it. But this, when a person is sick and right now they're in a place where they can't do a lot of things because of what they're dealing with, and you mean to tell me you couldn't be understanding of that or empathetic or even sympathetic of that? Okay. Okay. Cool. See, I'm one of these people. You sick, I'm gonna take care of you. When you sick, I'm gonna make sure you get the doctor's appointments. I'm gonna make sure that I'm there to support you. Why? Because if something happens to you, I don't want that on my conscience. I will stay with you at the hospital. I will stay with you. I will make sure you get there and back. I am not going to leave you out there like that, knowing your situation. I would never do that. And as a friend, I would never sit up here and not be there for a person. And I would never just let a person just sit in the house all day, knowing they can't drive, knowing the reason they can't drive. I would at least say, you know what, do you wanna come by? Do you wanna do this? Do you wanna do that? It would be great. That's all I wanted you to do. I just wanted to get out the house. I don't wanna be stuck in the house every weekend at home. But because I can't drive, I have no choice. But it's cool. It really is. It is absolutely cool. So, for my podcast, I'm gonna end this here because I'm almost about to be out of time. But I'm gonna say it like this here. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, because like I said, what you do unto others will be done unto you. If anybody wants like one-on-one coaching, or if y'all want any type of being on far as a conversation or interview, or just want to be on my podcast, or there is something that you're going through that basically I talk about that you can relate to, please email me at asha.mariama01@gmail.com. That's asha.mariama01@gmail.com. As for the people that requested to do interviews, I will be doing these interviews. I just got to go to the doctor on the 3rd to see if I have to have surgery. But after I get this thyroid issue situated, I definitely will start interviewing people. Cause I know there's people and there's some books I still gotta read. So I will definitely get back to each and every one of you about doing an interview very soon. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to, but I've been having throat issues. So with that being said, I just want to do this podcast and make up for the past couple of days of me not being able to do a podcast. So I thank y'all for joining me for this episode. I appreciate y'all for y'all understanding. Without y'all, there is no me. I'd be nothing without y'all. Y'all have no idea how much I appreciate and value y'all, because y'all have been my greatest support through all of this. So I definitely will be doing interviews. I definitely will be doing those things. So with that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, because again, I'll be nothing without y'all, because y'all are what made me who I am and made my podcast so successful. So I want to take time to just say thank you for that and how greatly appreciative I am for y'all. I am. But for those of y'all who want to do the interviews, I will definitely be more than happy to do it. It's just right now my throat is not 100%. It hasn't been for a while. So I try to do my podcast to the best of my ability. So I will definitely be doing interviews and reaching out to y'all. So with that being said, once I get everything with my thyroid situated, I will definitely be reaching out to everybody about doing interviews and having conversations with you guys. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. And for any sponsors that want to send me stuff, any sponsors that want to be a part of my platform, I greatly appreciate it. Just send me an email as well, and we will talk soon. Okay, bye y'all. Okay, as for y'all over here on YouTube, I thank y'all for joining me for this episode. I'm about to go to bed and get some sleep. But just know this. You can't make the people stay anywhere that they don't want to be. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up here and worry about anybody at this point. I know what I'm dealing with, and thank God I got family support, because this is like this. Today is like this. Is numbness or something going on. So it ain't helping right now. It hurts. And it is very swollen. And it is messing with my breathing. Because when I went to the emergency room, I almost couldn't breathe. So it's really affecting my breathing. So I need to get this either removed or the swelling got to go down. Because you can literally feel the pain of it and it hurts. So that's why I'm taking a hiatus for a little while. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. So yeah, it definitely hurts. So it hurts my neck, which in turn, I already got arthritis in the neck. It's bad enough. But I'm working on that. But this has not been fun at all. But I'm going to get through it, because I always get through what I'm dealing with. But like I said, I'm not mad at nobody. I can't be mad at nobody, because it wouldn't be worth me being mad. And then you got people right now that are living in their cars and living in RVs and living in minivans, and it is crazy. The fact that you got people living in their cars is crazy to me. But this is what our world is being led to, unfortunately. In this world, the homeless rate is going to be extremely high. And I mean, it's going to be high. We're going to have people that basically are going to be with no place to stay. You're going to have businesses end up going out of business. But pretty much, let me break down. Me and my son's father were talking, right? And we were talking about why everything is happening when it comes down to the tariff thing. And everybody keeps thinking that the tariff thing is going to impact and affect America. Now, to a certain degree, yes. But then again, no. My son's father made me realize something when we were talking today. He made me realize that basically, essentially, what they're going to do is they're going to end up taxing not American products. They're going to tax overseas products. So anything that's coming in the US is going to be taxed. So that's where the tariff, they said, from what my son's father was saying, that it's not going to be American companies that's going to be taxed. It's going to be overseas companies bringing stuff in that's going to be taxed. So that's what's going to be taxed. So pretty much what he's saying is what's going to happen is it's going to be a situation where it's going to be a situation where they're trying to get Americans to start shopping back at America. So hopefully they'll lower prices, because of the fact that they're not going to be taxing companies. But then again, we don't know for sure. Don't really know, but that's what they're saying. So just being mindful of that. Like I said, honey, only the strong gonna be able to survive in this world. Only the strong gonna be able to make it through. And it's gonna be the people that's doing exactly what I'm doing. The people that are not trying to be a part of society standards. The people that are stacking up their money. The people that are leaving their kids legacies. The people that's leaving their kids businesses. The ones that are teaching their children the importance of money and what it's truly for, and understand that money doesn't last. A business does. You want to have residual income. So that's what you got to look at. So I just wanted to just put that out there. But they want people to start shopping back at the U.S. And then I was looking at I'm getting some stuff prepared for the trip. I bought I gotta get some I got all my toiletries for the trip. I got the only thing that's missing. What is missing? Um okay, let me check back out. Okay, I got a suitcase coming. Um I got my toiletries. I got my stuff, magnesium oil. I'm about to order that now. I got my travel toiletries, my compressed packing cubes, the non-surge protector, the stuff for um, the stuff for motion sickness, the wrinkle-free stuff. So I got a couple things that I got. And then Walmart, they have this thing where you get to they have this thing where the actual trying to see what, okay, they don't have it. Okay. They have this thing where trying to think again where I saw it at. It's like a mount for your phone. Hold on. See if I can find it. I need to put this stuff on hold. This actually has a speaker, so I'm getting one of those when I go on the boat because you'll be able to actually you'll be able to play music on it while you're so if you lift it's Bluetooth, so if you lift it up, it'll go back into your phone, but if you put it down, it automatically the music comes on. It's really cool. I saw one on TikTok, so I decided to buy one. And so I got some other stuff that I'm gonna put on hold for right now. I'm not gonna get it right now because I don't need it right now. And then I gotta get some stuff for Thanksgiving. I'm making a Cornish hen, making 2 Cornish hens because I'm gonna have one for that day and then one for the day after Thanksgiving. I'm making some stuffing. What else am I making? Stuffing. I'll probably make some spinach or some collard greens. And probably I don't know if I'm know if I'll make a dessert or not. I don't know. If I do, well, something probably make a small cake or something. Cause I don't really want a lot of cake, but I got a cake mix in there. Then I might buy a cheesecake or something of that nature. Just something healthy. I don't know, but I got a bunch of stuff. I got some avocados. I'm about to make this dish. I made a pizza. Like what I did was I took the soft tacos and I put pizza sauce, cheese, pepperoni, well turkey pepperoni, and then I put one on top of it, and then I did the same thing. I put pepperoni, cheese, pizza sauce. It turned out. You would think that it was a regular pizza the way it looked because when it shrunk down, it actually shrunk down. So the two pieces end up shrinking down, but it looks like one pizza, but in all actuality, it's like a stuffed. I didn't even realize I made a stuffed crust pizza. I just you okay. Just use soft taco shells. That's all you need to use. Soft taco shells. You should be good. So instead of using the pizza dough, just use soft taco shells. So I need to use soft tacos and put pizza sauce on it, pepperonis, whatever you want. Put it in the oven with cheese, and you'll be good. You'll be good. And you can even do it, I think, without cheese, where you can just put the pepperoni on there with the pizza. But it turned out really, really good. It did. It turned out really good. I took a picture of it. Let me see. I can show y'all what it looked like. And then I'm going to bed. Oh, did the calculator, my bad. Just kidding myself. That's what it turned out. That's how they ended up turning out like that. So they're small, but like I said, it just looks like a stuffed crust pizza, small stuffed crust pizza. So I just, like I said, I can do them in the morning with some eggs. What I can do is make some eggs, take the pot, do the same thing. Put some put the eggs and cheese on top of it, then put pepperoni, and then stack it, and then put some cheese and pepperoni on the top. The eggs can be in the inside of it, but I don't have. I gotta figure out what to put in there for the eggs. As far as if I was doing it like an eggs, pepperoni, egg and cheese pizza, I had to figure out whether I would just put the eggs and then the cheese on top, and then put the pepperoni, um, cheese, and then pepperoni on top. I gotta figure out what sauce to put in there. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. If not, I would just do it without the sauce. Just put the cheese and then put the eggs and then the cheese on top, and then do another layer with the egg and cheese on top, and then cut it and then eat it. I probably put some mushrooms in it and probably some ground sausage, some ground turkey sausage, and mix it in there with it. So I probably put the turkey sausage and the pepperoni in there along with the eggs. So I would take eggs, then put some pepperoni or turkey sausage or bacon. Matter of fact, I would probably do bacon and then sausage and then mushrooms and then put them in there, and then put the one on top of it, and then add the egg and everything on top of it. Do the same thing and then eat it. Or either make a like a small breakfast burrito. I don't know. So with that being said, I think that's it for me. I'm sorry, man. I'm sleepy. I'm going to get some sleep. I'm tired. I gotta be up early in the morning. I do. I gotta be up early. Then I gotta wash clothes when I get off. So get done working. So I'm always working on something. So y'all, I just want to do this video so that way tomorrow I got a book. And the reason I'm up, I'm gonna be writing a book. I'm gonna be doing my courses, and I got some stuff I gotta do tomorrow. So I'll be in class tomorrow. That's why I say when y'all say I be working, I be literally working. It's not just about a regular 9 to 5 job. I just be working. So that being said, like I said, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Just understand that. And I'm about to listen to this new Diamond Platinum and Chris Brown song to see what this song sound like. Is it real or is it just something that was just put together? So I'm about to listen to it in a second to see what it is. Is that Channing Tatum? I don't know. I'm just trying to see if this is real. Everybody been wanting them to work together, but I'm about to find out. It might be something just put together. And then some people do this stuff to get you to click on it. Some people just get you to click on it, and then it ain't what you think that it is. Because I was like, I don't think they've done anything. If they've done something, we would know about it. But then again, they may have. I don't know. But I like Diamond Play. I like Afro beats, honestly. I like Afro beats now more so than American music at this point. It's some artists I like that are American, but for the most part, I like African music. So I'm gonna finish listening to this to see what the heck this is, cause I'm like a little confused. So I'm gonna listen to it, and like I said, some people like there are people that will write with something and they'll say it's a Chris Brown song, and it's not. Let us say it's August Alsina, Trey Songz, and Chris Brown, and you'll listen to it. It ain't them. It's for clickbait. Be mindful of that. If it ain't, if you listen to it, if it don't sound, I mean, and don't get me wrong, the songs sound good. I don't like when people do that. I don't like when people do that. Now, don't get me wrong, this might be an actual song, but it just might be the instrumental to it. So let me go back. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to it, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna put the name and see what we find. If there is in fact a song that they're getting ready to do, because then again, he did do the challenge. Hold on, let's see if I can find the diamond platinum Chris Brown when he did that challenge. Hold on. Because everybody been wanting him to do a song with him, and they didn't do it. I'm trying to find the challenge. So I guess they are going to be doing a song together eventually, from what they're saying, but let's see if I can find the challenge. I don't know. Here it is. Okay, it's like a short, but yeah, it's like a YouTube short. All right, hold on. I'll go from the beginning. All right, let me share my screen right quick. So y'all will know who I'm referring to. Why did I just do that? And then I'm off to bed. Okay, here it is. But that's not the whole entire. Now he did half of it. I wish they would have finished it. But I guess they're gonna eventually do a song together. At least I hope they do. But is this a song or is this just a challenge? Hold on. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna show y'all some of the people doing the dance. Okay.
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya ça va. 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 Comment ça va? So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Comment ça va? Comment ça va?
That's the challenge, but I'm trying to find more with like the kids that actually are doing it. Okay. This is the person I'm referring to. Okay, hold on.
It's the kids, baby. Baskosho inginkinga. sekubalisela
How'd
basikhuphula imizwa
zombie?
sukumisa umzimba basikhohlwe ngenkinga sekubalisela basikhuphula imizwa sukumisa umzimba Koma savana, aye savana.
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe,
ça va.
Aïe,
ça va.
Comment ça va?
That's not the original version. Hold on a minute. Okay, here it is.
What if recording high?
Jason, what is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure. Couldn't have thought of a better place and better time to spend with the better people. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap.
Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va, nana.
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe,
ça va.
Aïe,
ça va.
Comment ça va?
So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Punjan, ¿cómo va? Habari gani? Ni hao. Assalamu alaikum. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? Namaste.
What's the price to love you? Would you still leave here with me if I didn't have $1? You fucked up my brother, put lipstick on my collar. Could be my dirty secret if we keep it undercover. Comment ça va?
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va.
Comment ça va?
So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Punjan, ¿cómo va? ¿Cómo ça va? ¿Cómo ça va? ¿Cómo ça va?
Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Oui, c'est la boutique à la fois, c'est la boutique.
Nana.
¿Cómo ça va? ¿Cómo ça va? ¿Cómo ça va? ¿Cómo ça va? Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va.
Comment ça va?
So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy.
Ça va. Aïe, ça va, nana.
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va.
Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va. Aïe, ça va.
Comment ça va?
Okay.
So easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Unjan, como vai? Habarigan, como ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya 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 ça va? Comment ça va? So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Unjan, como vai? Habari gani? Ni hao nana. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya 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 ça va? Comment ça va? So so easy, it just be buggy. How are you? Unjan, como vai? Habari gani? Ni hao. Assalamu alaikum.
That's how they got into that, and that's that challenge.
What happened to no one?
That's how all these people ended up doing that challenge, and that challenge went worldwide. I mean, literally everybody from around the world was doing that challenge. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of y'all be focusing on the wrong things, just don't even matter at this point. It don't. Now I'm going back on not being seen, but it don't make sense. Like I said, I love all types of music. I don't discriminate against or anything like that, but more than likely these segments will probably be gone because I'm gonna have to cut them out properly or switch them out. So that being said, I'm going to bed. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I do. But at the end of the day, like I said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. How you live is how you die. Understand that? So taking care of your health and wellness, making better choices and decisions, deciding what you choose to acknowledge and what you choose to consume. And if you do, make sure you need to decide whether or not it's really worth even responding or even being mad in the first place. At the end of the day, you can't make people do anything when it comes to their freedom of choice and free will. And you have to meet people where they are. But don't let people personally or even professionally get you where you're out of character when you lose yourself. Don't ever allow people to do that because trust me, they will do just that. They will make you out of character. And then now you're being looked at and now they're playing victim because, it's just like the wolf is coming, the wolf is coming. The wolf didn't come. Wolves and no, boy and girl to cry wolf. And there's a whole lot of them running around here. There's a whole lot of boy and girl and crying wolf running around here. So just be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that because people will bring you out of character. So again, the first thing that should come to your mind is the consequences and repercussions. Is it worth wasting my time on? And if it ain't, then don't. I just don't recommend that you do. It ain't going to be worth it. So that being said, it is my bedtime. I am going to bed. So I wanted to come on here and do this video and that podcast. And now I got to combine them on another podcast. But I got one more I got to do tomorrow. So, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not worth the headache, stress, or strain of it. You got to make a choice whether you're going to choose God or whether you're going to choose the devil. It cannot be, okay, I'm only going to be positive 30% of the time and the other 70% of the time you're going to be negative. You can't, when it see fit to you, be a person of God because of the image of it. No, you have to live it. You just can't sit up here and say, okay, I'm gonna be God, but yet I'm gonna have sex. I'm gonna be of God, but yet I'm gonna drink alcohol. I'm gonna be of God, but yet I'm gonna run around here and rob a bank. That's not what being a godly person is. You don't entertain negativity intentionally. So in other words, you're not doing it intentionally. So it could be a situation where you may not have a choice. For example, somebody got a gun to your head and you ain't got no choice. But there are things that can be prevented. So if you can prevent being a part of negativity, then you do so. Other than that, it ain't too much you can do. So when you walk out the door and you get into your car and get into a car accident, that's not your fault. Ain't nothing you can do about it. If there's a mass shooting, then ain't nothing you can do about it. So long as you have control over it, it ain't no excuse. So during this journey of being a life coach, you better make a decision of what you gonna do. Are you gonna continue feeding into the wolves in sheep clothing, boy and girl to cry, wolves, sirens, vampires, and snakes, or are you not? But if you're gonna be a godly person, all the things that secular people do, you ain't gonna be able to do. You're not gonna be able to. Now, don't get me wrong, you can listen to secular music and not be a part of it, especially if you're in the car. But like I said, if you're gonna be a godly person and understand the secular world is a part of that as well. And you gotta be able to maneuver in that world. And that's the whole point of what my life coaching is about, is helping people through the secular world. How do you get through the secular world and still be a godly person? And that's where the recovery and the healing come from. So yeah, you will be out there, and yes, you will be constantly healing from something. Constantly. But in the end, you'll end up getting through it. It's just like I said, you gonna go through something. Unfortunately. Sadly enough, but whether it be whatever the reason may be, you just gotta grin and bear it and keep pushing. So I am about to go to bed and get some rest and continue just pushing on. So, like I said, is it easy being a godly person? No, because you're gonna feel like you're boring. You're gonna feel like something wrong with you. You're gonna feel like that you don't belong. But then again, that's to be expected. So instead of looking and seeing what everybody else is doing, you're gonna be focusing on yourself. So the people that are in your life are gonna be just like you, just as boring as you are. So while all of these people think you're boring and you're not doing this and that, you are traveling the world and you are doing your thing and you ain't worried about it. You're being successful and you're not worried about all the nonsense. So it all comes down to I don't know why I keep forgetting this thing is on mute. My bad. But I hope you guys basically have a very, very happy Sunday evening, Monday morning. But just understand, be the best version of yourself and continue pushing through even when nobody else does. So just because you see other people doing other things doesn't mean you got to do it. Just because you see people married does not mean you're going to get married. It just means that you're on a different path. So you're not supposed to be on the path as everybody. Just like everybody goes through different situations and they may not be the same, and that's okay too. And even if they don't, that's fine. But what matters is that you are on the path that you choose to be on. But understand, being a godly person ain't easy. And you will be attacked and you'll be going through a lot. But in the end, you'll be the one to be triumphant, because these negative people will get everything that's coming to them. Because you can't if you live by the sword again, you die by the sword. So that being said, I'm off the bed. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And until next time, bye y'all.